Guys, to the WCS America and Canada qualifiers. I'm Rifkin casting with Zombie Rob and joined this game by expert analysis Xenocider. But I thought Avilo was going for cheese. He's checking for cheese.
Oh my god.
Alright, well, we'll do these intros real quick. Spawning in the bottom right corner of the map, it's going to be none other than your ladder hero of the stream king himself, Avilo.
In the top left, as the purple Terran, its complexity is QXC.
So, legit, I thought this was just him going straight up for like a proxy marauder or something. It's just, that's so weird to do with a scout, but I guess it would catch QXC if he was proxying himself.
I don't think I've ever seen that at the professional level before. Sending your first SEV out to the middle of the map. Wow.
I just done it before.
Well, I just feel like if you're playing against someone who notably is cheesy, right? Like let's say Miso. Miso like always 2-racks in every best of 3 he's ever played that we've seen lately. Like, okay, that makes sense. But QXC is a guy who in ZVT, yeah, he 2-racks like crazy back in the day. But in TVT, I don't know him doing a lot of cheese like that.
Yeah. I think like what it comes down to is that you can't really do it in any matchup because like at the professional level every second counts, and if that costs you 10 seconds on your barracks, 10 seconds might not sound like a lot, but gas first versus Reaper, if that's 10 seconds where your Marine is delayed versus Reaper and you only have 1 Marine versus 1 Reaper, you pretty much lose the game. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out.
Well, TVT can go a lot of ways. You brought up the topic of mech before. I'd love to. We've never really sat down and talked about things like this. I am curious on your thoughts, though. It feels like a lot of the time right now in the current state of this game, like if it goes to the mid-game mech versus bio, it just feels like those Hellbat drops, the pushes, and the timings. Mech seems to have a really good time in this matchup. We kind of expect Avilo to go this direction with it. What do you think for QXC? And do you think he struggles versus it?
I think historically, from when I've played against QXC, he's always been a bio player and not really mech, just because of preference. I think he just prefers being out on the map and taking map advantage. And also from experience playing against QXC, I know that he's quite good against mech. Like he knows the fundamentals and how to play against it, and he's pretty good in split map scenarios. So I think he should be fine.
By the way, I don't know, your cocky European counterpart Marine Lord is messaging me saying, like, why do we have a low-level Terran joining us on the cast?
Yeah.
You and Marine Lord, dude, are the cockiest Terran players I know, like, without question.
I mean, I propose we leave this game right now and I 4-0 Marine Lord on stream.
Oh, show match. Yeah, we'll just give up on the WCS qualifiers and show match styles. I'm just saying, we haven't seen Marine Lord knock Polt to a loser's bracket. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'll knock Marine Lord straight into retirement after this, man.
Oh man, there's that cocky dude.
I'm just
Alright, well, Zombie Girl, we've been doing a lot of the chat. What do you think about this for Avilo? Do you think it's going to be Banshees?
I guess so. I mean, he is going to go for mech, so I don't see a Marauder opening in his future. Unfortunately, Avilo, like Xenocider said, if he could get to the mech late game, he's taken out pretty good players with it, like, you know, Beyond famously, you know, whenever he streams, which is very rare. Sometimes he'll face Avilo when he's, like, kind of trolling on ladder, and he'll lose to him in a very, very late mech game. It's kind of disheartening to see what it happens. But I think QXC is going to know. Actually, both these guys, I guess, interestingly enough, can and have attended the DC LAN. We were talking about that earlier. I'm not sure at the same time, at least from when I've been going through the lands. But I think, you know, QXC is well aware of who Avilo is, Avilo is well aware of who QXC is, and QXC, I'm sure, has had discussions about how to beat Avilo with other Terrans.
Well, let's see if the Widowmines catch much of anything. There's not a whole lot that dies too easily to these in the early game, at least. Splash damage is always really nice, except when it goes on your own units. Ugh. Friendly fire is a hell of a thing, but the Banshee is going to head out. But QXC, look at this. There's 3 turrets. He's even covering his production with it. We got the Viking coming out as well. I just can't see this getting a lot done. It would take QXC playing really just lazy and complacent and half-tabbed out for this Banshee to get multiple kills. In fact, look at it. He doesn't even have that Southern Geyser just yet either. So, I mean, okay, it sucks he doesn't have gas, but it also means it's not going to get picked off for free.
I feel like an important point to note here is that even though QXC hasn't been practicing recently, the metagame hasn't changed that much in TVT. So I feel like he should have a lot of experience with the builds that are still in popularity right now.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that yesterday when we had Illusion, or sorry, not yesterday, the first qualifier when we saw like Illusion fighting against Taiga and such. TVT has been a pretty... It's interesting because when TVT does change, there's always big shifts, but then it stays that way for a very long time, it feels. Banshee is going to get a couple of kills here, but there's that Viking, so about 3 or so delays that second gas. Not horrible, but not losing it as well.
We do have a drop set up in the right side. I'm not sure if Avilo saw it, did it dodge it, or what was going on with that Banshee.
I was chasing the Widow Mine, so... Well, he did pick off the Widow Mine, and that's cool beans. There's actually not a lot here to defend. 1 tank, 2-3 Marines. He'll have to pull SCVs to make this work, because both his Banshees are tunneled to the other side of the map. And it's going to be poor Avilo. He's going to take some damage from this. That's almost guaranteed.
Well... Yeah, he's gonna actually pull the SUVs away from here, and I don't know if he's gonna get that tank to come up here. He will. He could wait longer for like this Banshee to pop up if he really felt like he couldn't take it. But with 4 Marines and a tank, I think that he can. The SUVs are going down. Maybe he shouldn't have brought them back to the mineral line quite yet. It's actually bothers to siege the tank too. QXC just gets out of there.
Well, floating on back. What do you think of the follow-up, Xenocider? I mean, Avilo, we're kind of expecting to go mech, but he's actually gone for the +1 bio.
Oh, did he? Huh, that's really odd. This isn't actually a build in terms of TVT, but I think he's just doing it as he goes. His stim is going to be really late, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. I mean, unless he floats this barracks that's on the reactor right now onto the tech lab and starts stim that way, he's going to be at a severe advantage once he goes on the map because, oh, that's what he's doing. Okay. This just seems really weird because he's not gonna have the Marine production now. He only has 6 Marines, and when you put your barracks in the tech lab, you can only make 1 Marine at a time. So it's gonna be quite hard, I think.
By the way, that stream delay finally catching up. We actually have people already saying they'll throw $50 into the pot for a Marine Lord Xenocider match. Maybe we should try and make that happen sometime outside of WCS. But Marine Lord also responds saying, apparently you guys recently did do a bet match, and to ask you what the results were.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate series.
That didn't count. It was not for realsies.
Yeah, no. I'll recommend the next time.
Oh, okay. There you go. We do have Marines and tanks coming across the map, and QXC does have that air control. Banshees or not, having that Viking dominance, being able to just not have to scan every 3 seconds, it goes a long way. But that being said, if these Banshees get the job done of just killing that tank, then Avilo holds this ramp, no problem.
Well, there's already seems to be a problem just with how Avilo like is playing this game. Like he seems, I guess he's getting a faster third. Well, not by much. He's down in SCVs, he's down in army. He gets a sensor tower on 2 bases. Just seems like really early to be that paranoid. He does push back this, no problem. It just doesn't seem. It seems like QXC's playing the cleaner game right now.
Well, that was a good hold, that's for sure. Lost one of the Banshees. I mean,
yeah.
It was pretty obvious that like with only 2 tanks, it wasn't going to be that big of a threat. But I guess, this bugs me mostly because Avilo is playing bio, and it's not that Avilo is playing bio that bothers me so much as the fact that you're going to be a little more mobile. You're going to be able to perhaps respond to drops a lot easier. So yeah, this sensor tower, it's a pretty costly investment. He's already starting to put a bunch of turrets down too, and QXC hasn't really he did 1 harass drop before stim was even done. Okay, maybe this other one comes into play, but it's still. You're right, like, it feels way too early to be this paranoid. Yeah,
Avilo seems like he's just playing, like, his mech style, but with, like, trying to go bio with it for whatever reason. Because he also has, like, a tech lab on a second barracks, but isn't bothering to get combat shields with it. Like, that's further cutting into that Marine production Xenocider was talking about. Like, you could have had combat shields already done, bro.
Yeah.
Like, could have gotten going.
I mean, the +1's really nice, and we've seen players like Marine King and others take advantage of it, but at the end of the day, that +10 health that combat shields give, it absolutely overrules any amount of upgrades. Or at least it's early. Vikings will camp in the 3rd, and no one really easily taking a 3rd except QXC. Never mind, is floating his over just now.
I think it's just a macro mistake, honestly, because he has 300 right now, and he's just starting combat shields, and he doesn't have +1 armor started, and for the small engagements, or even big engagements, those upgrades make such a huge difference. For instance, like, if you have 30 Marines versus 30 Marines, and it's, 1-1 versus 0-0, you're gonna win the engagement by like 10, by like 10 Marines, so... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we're wincing at the Banshee dying for free.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, we make a lot of weird noises when casting.
Yeah.
This drop's
It's
not too
shady.
bad. I mean, he does have the +1, so check out through the SCVs really quickly. He's got stim, so he's dealing a lot of damage economically, but you know, QXC is on that third base, so even though he did lose some workers, it's not that big of a sweat to him. And this attack, you know, it's not Legacy of the Void just yet. We can't really float tanks around, so these siege lines are really hard to break, whether it's defensive for Avilo or offensive like QXC. And the biggest thing QXC is going to see is, oh, my opponent's still also not on a third. Like, this is great for him.
The only thing is that in this matchup, in Bio versus Bio, as long as you max out, you have a chance to win. So, because the armies are going to be equal in power, and Doom drops are really strong in this matchup. So, if Avilo can get a big Doom drop into QXC's base, even if he's a base behind and like 20 supply behind as he is right now, he can still pull something. Yeah,
and it's worth noting that Marine did not see the Medivacs, by the way, slip through. He just barely saw the tail end of one, but for like a fraction of a second. So I don't know if that actually registered here with QXC. He's kind of got this false sense of fear, not wanting to push in the naturals, not scanning. He doesn't actually know that the army left. And yeah, this Doom drop could actually get some very serious damage done. If it starts a base trade, it's always a little bit harder to run into tank lines.
I just QXC, you know, there's no third yet, and he scouted that. He's got to be like worrying what is Avilo doing. He does scan the army, sees that it's not very big. He might be thinking that, you know, maybe it's just that much better than Avilo, but there's the big drop. Runs into missile turrets. They're not even like anywhere close to should be able to hit the.
But you know the great thing about this? Look where he sieges up. Not only is it in range of the production, it can actually hit that SCV line too. So as long as he doesn't give away too many Marines needlessly, there'll be that little bit of a buffer for the tanks to live, trying to shoot the flooding in. But he's lost a lot of Marines before this even began, so Stim's right on top of the tanks, and QXC will hold this fight. Meanwhile, tries to break out on the other side, hoping QXC wasn't paying attention. However, he doesn't need to. Those tanks are just shelling away at the Marines, and Avilo, okay, he'll break out of this, but he loses almost all of his tanks and almost all of his Marines. In fact, the Medivac's also dying to the Vikings, and he doesn't actually finish the tanks. GG map.
GG map?
What?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
all right, Terran expert, why is that GG map?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just about to say, like, I wonder how